The South China Sea dispute has entered a new chapter of force deployment with the emergence of paramilitary ships along the disputed waters. Known as maritime militia, these fishing ships, escorted by China Coast Guard (CCG) cutters, operate along the disputed waters to underline China's sovereignty claims in the area. Concerns over possible armed conflict have risen along with China's issuance of a new law that provides more lethal authority to its Coast Guard in the disputed waters. Coming into effect in February 2021, the law allows the CCG to take whatever action is required, including the use of arms when China's sovereign or national jurisdiction claims are deemed to be violated by an organization or individuals. The CCG can even obliterate structures made by other countries in the claimed islands. What is more alarming is how the CCG can declare temporary maritime exclusion zones, when necessary, allowing it to limit and prohibit foreign ships from entering designated areas. Combined with the use of arms in different levels, the CCG is clearly equipped to conduct such actions as we look at the armaments and tonnage of its so-called cutters. Indonesia, a non-claimant country in the dispute, but within whose exclusive economic zone EEZ China's maritime militia operate, should not reciprocate the Asia Giants Act by mobilizing its fishermen to its EEZ. However, it is crucial for Indonesia to anticipate existing and future regional geomaritime dynamics by preparing its reservist component as stated in Law No. 23/2019 on National Resources, the development of state defense. More than that, the strengthening of the Indonesian Coast Guard Pakamla is crucial in order to directly deal with China's militia boats. China's aggressive moves have sparked protests from other claimant states in the South China Sea dispute, especially Vietnam, the Philippines and Malaysia, each of which has sent warships to the disputed waters. The deployment, therefore, escalates the concerns over possible friction with China's paramilitary vessels. The practice of megaphone diplomacy via social media has made things more worrying. Philippine Foreign Minister Teodoro Locsin through his Twitter account demanded that China withdraw its ships from the disputed waters. In his response, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi asked the Philippines to follow basic diplomacy etiquette and avoid megaphone diplomacy. Beijing pressed Manila to respect its sovereignty and jurisdiction and cease all actions that may complicate existing realities in the SCS. The Philippines and Vietnam responded to China's deployment of its maritime militia by sending theirs, too. If the CCG feels pressured, it may exercise its authority given by the new Coast Guard law, prompting an open conflict that may well invite other regional major powers to meddle in. To a certain degree, the operation of the Chinese maritime militia in the North Natuna Sea has ignited tensions with Indonesia. To exercise its sovereign right over its EEZ, Indonesia has deployed its warships to thwart the maritime militia vessels. China's move is known as a gray zone operation, which commonly happens during peacetime with the aim to apply a coercive approach that remains under the threshold of war. This sort of operation does not involve gray hulls of combat ships, but they stand ready to be deployed at any time from existing naval bases in the SCS. This type of operation blurs the boundary between military and non-military actions in order to defend China's historical claim upon 90% of the disputed waters. So far, China has constructed numerous military facilities on its man-made islands in the Spratlys and Paracel. On the other hand, China continues to develop its naval power into a blue water navy to frighten away other regional states. China's third carrier Type 003 is currently being developed quickly in order to strengthen its existing two aircraft carriers in operation, which are CNS Liaoning and CNS Shandong. In the SCS dispute, China employs a gray zone operation by deploying its CCG and maritime militia as its pawns in the hegemonic chess game. According to a report from the Philippines, around 220 Chinese fishing vessels have been detected in the disputed waters. These ships, covered by CCG vessels, remain in the body of water. This significant number of ships indicate they are part of a well-organized and well-planned effort. These maritime militia vessels have the element of surprise and can be defined as a military infiltration into a disputed area. Their presence constitutes another form of the fourth-generation hybrid warfare with a possibility of open conflict. It can also be said that their presence in the disputed waters amounts to the engineering of naval power in order to support China's historical claims. It is reported that these vessels move under the coordination of China's Navy and CCG, a matter that China has denied. The tension has further simmered after the United States, a non-claimant state, challenged China's hegemony over the SCS claim. Using the freedom of navigation as their justification, U.S. warships are sailing along the SCS, only to ignite China's anger. This type of operation is also practiced by the United Kingdom, France and Australia. The Royal Navy's HMS Queen Elizabeth has sailed along the waters as well as France's deployment of its nuclear-powered submarine, Amiru. Similar tension is brewing in the East China Sea, the Taiwan Strait and the Yellow Sea, involving Japan, Taiwan and China. The territorial disputes include Senkaku Island, Diaoyu Island for China, between Japan and China along with the Taiwan issue. Tension in the two waters could escalate into armed conflict at any given time, considering how the U.S. could deploy its power into the East and South China Sea any time to defend its allies. USS Ronald Reagan and her squadron of destroyers, frigates and submarines could easily be deployed to the SCS from its Yokosuka, Japan naval base, while USS Theodore Roosevelt could head toward the East China Sea. Hence, these two bodies of waters could become theaters of war between two world giants, the US and its allies against China and its supporting nations. If this happens, the world would have to go through yet another disaster while struggling to contain the COVID-19 pandemic.